Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Patreon. It was good to see you guys last night. I don't know how many Patreon members came out, but I think I spoke
I'm sure a few.
I spoke to a few of them.
Yeah.
And a member of the Patreon did film it, so
True.
That's, it's nice to see us supporting our own,
Yeah.
How are you?
I'm good, Horatio.
Yeah.
How are you?
I'm great.
I've been I'm a bit confused although because I was getting my hair cut with the stern Eastern European ladies down the road. They do run hairdressers, not just
and you didn't like the job corner. They did, because I'm still not
quite.
They're quite expensive for.
No, they're not. It's £30. It's £27, which is not expensive compared to a lot of barbers in London.
Well, barbers are like quick cuts, aren't they? Barbers are like £8, aren't they?
You've lost your head.
Because that's like a hair salon.
Find me
that's
a barber,
salon.
You find me a barber that's under £20. I will.
Yeah, I guess so.
Spit in your
mouth.
It
is in London. It is.
It's the same price as I paid everywhere, and you get it washed. And I heard on the radio they always play like Capital FM, and often it's quite aggressive music. I find for a kind of chill. I haven't been to many salons. But I think in my head it was just kind of like Japanese garden music rather than the top 100, which is quite almost baseline-y.
Everything about that room is quite aggressive to the senses,
including
from the crushed velvet to the fluorescent lights to the unbelievably upset Eastern European women who just are so pissed off with your existence. Were they rude to you again? They've
never been rude to me.
No.
They've never because I've got a bit of a thing with one of them.
Okay,
we're in a relationship.
Yeah.
No, she wasn't there this time, but I had the nicer one. It's generally nicer. No, they're actually quite nice to me now. But they're on the radio. They were saying about they were doing some Love Island jokes about how Love Island's coming on, and that confused me because usually so what the fuck is Winter Love Island? Because I thought...
Because you're quite new to your Love Island. It happened the back end of last series that you became infatuated.
Exactly.
You fell in love.
I fell in love with the island.
Yeah.
Of love. But it seems that there's not been any significant media build-up or marketing stuff that's really happened with it. But I've watched 2 episodes. We won't get into it. We'll get into that in a bit. But I don't understand why people aren't as excited about it as the summer one, because the format's exactly the same. So why is the summer one bigger? It's the same thing.
Yeah, that is interesting, because BB's obviously losing her mind over it. She absolutely...
So she's really excited.
She loves Love Island so much.
But Elle isn't as excited. There's not this feeling in the air that Love Island's on.
Because it's not... Is Love Island a summer thing?
Yeah, but
is it
they're
in the
warm...
Is it done during the summer? Here.
What, the main one?
Yeah.
Yeah. The main one's in
when it's in
July.
Spain. Is it July?
I think so. Around then. Maybe June.
Yeah, I think you're more in the Love Island vibe. You're in that vibe.
Do you think the reason it's not as big is because there's a jealousy of the warmer climate?
Sure, it's just not the energy you're going for.
Is there not an escapism?
It's not. It's more winter. It's more wholesome. It's less slutty.
I guess so.
Yeah, it's less horny time of year.
But then how much do people see themselves in the contestants then? Or just, for me, it's like watching...
They're more imagining themselves inside the contestants.
Literally. Wow.
That's what I said, and I'm not going to back down.
I think
that's what I meant.
We're here now. We're ready for it.
Yeah.
But it's the same, But that, for me, that's not enough to... The shows that people watch aren't aggressively seasonal like that. I don't think, if it's the same format, I don't think just because it's cold here... should mean that people don't get as gassed.
I'll speak to BB about it. She's the Love Island.
But she's really excited.
Yeah.
But I'm saying it's the atmosphere.
Yeah, but I understand. I wonder how, because she also is aware of what's considered Love Island canon and stuff like that, so she understands kind of the dialogue of,
She's a chronicler.
Yeah, exactly. So I'll speak to her about. I guess because it's just it falls less in line with the yearly summer one. It's set in South Africa.
It's weird that there's 2 and one of them.
It's not classic.
It's weird that there's 2. They're identical. One of them is in winter, one of them's in summer, but people only really care about the summer one.
Yeah.
That's strange to me.
It is strange. So this one's in South Africa.
Yes.
And how have you liked the first few episodes?
It's been a bit, and maybe I'm answering my own question here, but there's a lack of energy.
Yeah.
There's a new host, Maya Jama.
I wish her the best.
You watched?
I wish her the best.
Yeah, me too. God bless her in that new role. But like,
and what shoes to fill?
Big shoes to fill. Why does the other one leave?
I think because she's dull.
Did she get kicked off?
Yeah, and
Well,
she
I don't know.
She's done like 6 years, and I think she wasn't a fan favourite. She's a bit robotic.
Right. No,
Laura Whitmore.
I liked her.
There wasn't a lot of passion there, and Maya Jama she brings.
I don't think Maya Jama brought much passion at all.
Do you know what I mean?
She felt quite flat. I thought
Laura
Laura was
Whitmore,
better.
You think Laura's better?
Well, I'll give her a chance. She's only.
I think as a move it makes sense. You know, I think it's shrewd.
Well, Laura was a bit more like smiley and kind of brought the fake. She's good at fake laughing, which is really important when they're trying to do jokes.
Sure.
And but the whole episode just felt flat and quite. I think it was kind of, maybe I'm also bringing in the lack of excitement.
You're projecting your own issues.
My own insecurities. But maybe I'm bringing in the lack of excitement I've experienced.
Would you want to be the presenter of Love Island?
I'd love to do Ian Sterling's job, because my God, the money he must get for that.
Insane.
And the lack of quality is fucking brilliant, because it's almost...
respect. Like,
I've watched one season and I was like, this is ridiculous, and now I respect it.
Now you respect
I'm like, he's playing the money game. He gives a fuck.
It
doesn't matter. Throw that
He
shit at the wall and take the money.
He sells tours off it. He got a sitcom and a stand-up special on ITV off the back of it, and they just play it after Love Island.
God bless him.
Yeah,
because
fair play for the lad.
Because at first I thought he was, really. I just thought he was really bad.
Yeah.
But now I've sensed that he doesn't give a fuck.
He's shrewd.
He's a shrewd man. He's
shrewd.
But it seems, I don't know. It seems a bit lackluster. But it's going to get, it's going to gear up.
Yeah, for sure.
There's some.
They're quite ugly. I watched the first episode, but I'm not. I did not feel. I don't know if I'm going to get a Love Island fever this time. We'll see. You just can't know. You just can't.
I'm going to give it a shot, because it's a great thing to come back and watch.
Yeah.
After like a pub or something.
But were you doing solo watches?
No, I never did a solo watch.
Are you lying to me now?
No.
Is that a lie?
No, it's not. You know what? I didn't even see the fucking final for the last season, because I was busy.
Yeah.
So we didn't, and then and then I knew who won.
I sat and stared at a wall for 3 hours. I was like,
if I can't watch Love Island, I'm not doing anything else. But no, I haven't done a solo watch.
Yeah.
And I don't think I would, because it is fundamentally boring.
Yeah, it is. It's fun. It's only fun to watch with.
Yeah. You need to. If I can't be making my jibes and jabs, then why?
Maybe with the guys. Maybe if it was like 8 guys.
That feels gross for some reason.
Or just 8.
Because of the blatant, almost softcore porn that's happening on the TV.
Just 8 lads.
8 lads just watching the Villa.
Yeah, we'll keep you updated. I'll only be able to see. I mean, the one thing I do know is that if BB is over, then it has to be watched at 9.
Yeah,
there's certainly going to be no negotiation. That's for sure.
You don't negotiate with terrorists.
I don't. I refuse to, because it encourages more, and it's a precedent I don't want to set.
Right.
Did you see the Gary Lineker?
No.
So you've not seen this?
I haven't seen it.
So it is pretty amazing, and Gary's been quite a good sport about it, actually, because I think he's even respected the craft and the prank. And there's a video also of the people who did it.
What's that?
I
know what happened.
Someone tied sellotaped a phone to the back of the Match of the Day set. Oh, not Match of the Day. FA Cup final coverage set. So it's live.
Yeah.
And then at home could play from phone to phone sex noises.
At home?
Yeah.
Wait, so where was it, at the ground or at the studio?
It was in the studio.
How did it get there?
I don't know. I don't know. But when I saw it, literally I saw it on TikTok and I was like, oh, that's an edit.
Yeah.
Where someone's edited that in. But that is real.
Oh, it's that noise. What? I still don't really understand how they did it.
Is that the video of the people who did it? No. Well, there's a video of them watching it on TV live with the phone there. That's pressing the button and then seeing it happen. Wait, imagine the thrill.
Were they at a stadium?
Yeah.
So they probably just sellotaped it to a mic in the stadium that's picking up the crowd noise.
No, because it's post-match when the mics are all in the
I want to know how they did.
So I think it's just around the back. They must have found a way to get in.
But then, what mics would they be using?
It's not the mics. It would just be in the room, wouldn't it?
Well, they left a phone in the room.
They sellotaped to the back of the set.
That's way too loud. That needs to be near a mic.
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know enough.
These men are geniuses.
It's pretty incredible.
I mean, the joy of being able to play that.
But watching it happen on live, like the thrill, I'd feel a god complex for sure.
Absolutely, because that's that classic sound that it's not just like, you know, when you used to get those trap videos that they'd kind of lure you in or something,
and you get fooled by them,
and you get fooled, and it'd be something that's a quiet video, and then and then it will cut to that, and it's really loud, so your mum would hear it. How do you feel? You don't like pranks, do you?
No, I don't like pranks, and the one that always gets me is the baseball ball hitting the screen.
I have freaked out about
every
that
single time,
so many,
and they always get
times.
me. And he's like, "You fucking cunts!"
I
they
did
always get me.
I was a bit. The worst one I had was when I was.
It's like
horrible.
It's like falling off a building in a dream. And you wake up. Yeah.
The worst one I did was it got me before, but I was quite hungover in the living room of Elle in like a duvet, and we were comfy, and I was kind of watching some of the TV, and I was just, you know, when you're really not looking at anything, you're just scrolling because you've got nothing in your brain. It just came up, and I literally kicked out, and like glasses were flying, and she was like, "What the fuck was that?" And it was too embarrassing to explain.
You didn't explain it to her?
I said, "None of your business." It's none of your business. Stay in your lane. But on pranks, one thing that I became infuriated at recently, and maybe it's another gripe, was I don't like being made to jump. I don't like these jump scares, surprises thing. For like when people do it in general, when they make you like, when they go, what's funny about it?
Yeah.
It just makes me angry. I don't laugh afterwards. I just get pissed off.
That's not a bit of fun, is it?
Because it's a bit like treat your neighbour how you would treat yourself.
Yeah.
And I don't think I've ever done a jump scare
to your neighbour.
To my neighbour.
Yeah.
I've done it to my friends.
Yeah.
But just not my neighbours.
Yeah.
We've got, things to keep it with that.
Exactly. Yeah, I think do unto others as thou wishest thou to be done unto thee.
Sure. You just changed the phrase I said slightly. It's a great podcast.
No, I agree. I don't like pranks at all. I think they're very. Have you seen the TikTok lives of fat Josh Jones?
Who's Josh Jones?
Josh Jones was like 2013 era pranker who would do.
Maybe.
I guess maybe something that I find interesting.
Is he the guy who's back on TikTok who looks really weird now?
Fat.
Yeah. Well, he looks a bit like he looks like he's trans.
Yes.
But he's not.
He's not.
Which is strange.
Yeah, but then he also looks very Brighton. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's a distinctive vodka Revs energy to the boy.
Yeah, absolutely is. More so when he wasn't fat and trans.
Yeah.
But it's odd. He scares me because he does those weird lives where he just does weird shit.
But yeah, I think it's that dark side of kind of these internet celebrities where he has a weird trajectory and I think it's sort of written in the stars for anyone who goes for those easy views.
Yeah.
It's always
you'll end up fat and trans.
You'll end up 15 years later if you're really big on Diary of a CEO, trying to forget about the last 10 years, or it'll somehow. Oh, do you think pranking old women didn't fulfill you or lead to a meaningful existence? Of course, it fucking did. He'd just do those fucking terrible videos of like, I don't know, having an embarrassing phone call in a supermarket and all that sort of stuff. A lot of them are probably faked.
Yeah.
And then people started doing them to him, and whenever someone did it to him, and so like
flip off.
He'd be flip out, deal with it terribly.
How would they do it to him so regularly? Just whenever they saw him on the street?
Yeah, I think some people just were planning it around him because he just kept doing it to other people.
Yeah, he's a knob.
Yeah, and then he went missing for a long period, and now he's back, and he looks fat and trans.
Yeah,
and he's doing these TikTok lives.
What does he do? Thanks.
He plays uplifting music, and then says, "It's like he's sort of like I don't know what it is. He wears a cut off t-shirt." showing his arms.
Yeah, he does.
And then it's normally playing like some like uplifting house music.
Yeah.
And then he's like, "Thanks a lot for the love" in the comments.
But it's not doing anything.
No, it's not. It's that feeling of like, okay, my career's been like here. I now need a bounce back. No, what are you? You're nothing. You don't. What is your thing?
Yeah, he hasn't got a thing.
You're not a thing.
But we both know about him.
Yeah.
And he's probably getting some not bad money from the lives.
I don't know.
He gets some money from lives.
I guess so. Yeah, that's why he's doing it for sure. But it's all just fucks you up so much.
But then how's that going to go? He's just going back into the same thing.
He's going
to end in the same way.
And then he's going to be fatter and more trans next time he comes back.
It's going to be even more trans next time.
I think the problem is once you start on that road, it's really hard to go back to have a normal life, as opposed to just setting up, working a normal life, going from that guy to something else, going into an office and doing that. That pivot means it's just hard to...
Because he was like on the days of Facebook videos.
Videos, like I think Lad Bible picked up a lot.
Was it even
the heyday of Lad
before
Bible?
The days where you could monetize things?
I don't know.
Probably
not.
There
was ways. There was probably more money on YouTube back then. That was when the algorithm
was he on
spin
YouTube?
Was up.
Yeah,
probably they all were. But I keep my eyes on him because I'm interested to see what. I think we're building towards something. Do you know what I mean?
Do you think something big?
Well, you can't just keep doing these fat person lives. I don't know, or just like he's gonna have a real fucked up comeback that doesn't work at all.
Yeah. What do you think he's gonna go back into the prank videos?
Something. He's gonna do a content pivot.
He's already done a content pivot.
That's not really. That's actually Is that sort of creating?
He used to be the YouTube prankster. He's now fat and trans, saying thanks for the like. But I know they're not that.
He's
dissimilar.
not accepted that he's fat or he's trans.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's he's not.
Well, he should lean more into that.
I think so. If he was fully trans, he would.
Because he's the thing.
Societally, if he was trans,
but he does look. There's something. Why does he look like that?
Societally, if he was trans, then he would be forgiven for all his past sins.
Yeah, obviously.
No, I mean, we just all collectively would be like, you're forgiven.
You're forgiven.
Because I think
for making old women cry.
Yeah, if you turn out to be trans, people are like, you were going through something. Everything you did, as your past gender,
and going through something is allowed to just be making internet videos.
It's a clean slate,
terrifying people around the country.
I think if we fuck it real bad, I'm going trans.
Sure.
Just to rewrite.
I'll go fat. You go trans.
I just don't know if people
food addiction, gender dysmorphia.
Yeah, I don't know if people would be as sympathetic to you going fat. I don't know if we fucked up. I don't know if you'd be straight back on TV just because you're fat.
Well, that would be the worst thing.
Not back on TV.
Well, that would be the worst thing if we get cancelled or people lose interest.
Yeah.
You go trans, I just get fat. And it turns out they won't accept me just getting fat. So now I'm fat and unsuccessful.
Yeah, and I'm
trans and killing it.
I'm just crushing it.
Do you remember another guy that I've seen back from whatever days those was? Aaron Carswell.
Yeah. He's in that thing. Can't be happy.
Can't be happy.
He can't be happy.
But what's
deep
he?
down.
I don't. What's because he?
But he was. What pissed me off about him is
he did kind of sketches though.
He did sketches. And
he did
pranks.
one character. Oh, that's going right in my basket.
Yeah.
Which is homophobic.
Yeah. What I didn't like about him, which is he had that energy of it's all life is just all a big laugh, and it's all about spreading joy.
What happens when the video stop?
I don't like because at least the Josh Jones guy, not Josh Jones, whatever his name, something like that. At least he was. I'm a massive cunt. That was his vibe, which I'm a little bit more for than doing the exact same thing, but being like, I'm just here to spread joy. Every time someone messages me saying I love your video, I cry. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah,
you're not spreading joy. You're spreading cum.
Do you think?
Yeah.
Do you think he's spreading cum?
No, it doesn't really make sense.
In a way, he's spreading cum, sure, but I think it'll be about it's such a short-term thing, and I'd love to see it. Actually, we should do a documentary on those guys, how they started and where they are. That class of whatever it was, 2000.
Oh, you mean like a Drive to Survive style documentary series?
No, more like the act of killing.
Yeah. Or make them recreate their crimes.
Yeah.
So you get fat trans Josh whatever his name
and
is,
make him do
and we
the
do
shit he did.
He does a prank thinking that we're coming back because we're big fans. That would make sense.
They do it.
It'd be called like the act of trolling or something. The act of pranking.
The act of trolling.
Yeah. Because they would do it.
They do it because they're desperate to go back to their glory days.
Yeah.
They're desperate to, because they can. The thing is, because that's the kind of terror of the internet, particularly the early internet as well, is they might have started doing it for a bit of fun, but then if that was just their hobby, then and it kind of all died out, then they can very much go on to a normal life without worrying too much about it. But it's that faint sniff of success and being able to do that.
Oh, maybe I could get it back. Maybe I could pull it off again.
But then surely they would have looked at it and been like, how far can this go? These pranks and the one character of, oh, that's going straight in my basket.
Yeah. And, what actually went in his basket?
Depression.
The lads,
self-loathing.
There's absolutely no way that guy, because he definitely hasn't come out and written any stuff about mental health or gone on Diary of a CEO. But I'm telling you right now, he's coming. How long? I don't know how long.
He's not big enough.
Aaron
Cresswell.
Yeah,
is not big enough.
He's in that space. He's pretty big.
Does he have followers?
Yeah. On Facebook, I bet he has over 1 million.
That's just because people forget to unfollow. That's why people have followings on Facebook. Aaron Cresswell.
Mm-hmm.
Aaron Cresswell.
It's
not coming up.
Aaron Cresswell is a left back for West Ham, I think.
Yeah, that would be the problem.
I think he is. Aaron Cricket.
He is. He's the left back.
Aaron Cresswell, 10 million followers
on Instagram,
Facebook. So he is big enough, and he's still doing them.
He's not on Instagram.
Look, he's a Facebook guy. He knows who his audience are.
Oh, I saw him. That's why I saw him. What he's doing now.
Aaron Cresswell.
What he's doing now is reacting to viral videos. So I saw him do this one thing, and it wasn't funny. It was like a moral piece, and it was like a TikTok video that had been uploaded. That was this girl complaining that the HR department kept saying you can't wear that, and it was him, like her showing the different dresses that she wasn't allowed to wear, and it was him going on a rant about how she should be allowed to wear it, which is, I think, might be the worst content I've ever seen in my life.
Do you think it's up there?
I do, because it's the reason the video was popular was because people were outraged by it.
Yeah.
So the reaction of him being outraged is irrelevant.
Yeah.
There's nothing new there.
Yeah.
Why is that interesting?
Well, I'm just saying, keep early predictions. He goes on a podcast and
talks about
how it just wasn't me. They all do that.
But he's quite old.
Yeah.
So he's surely to the point where he's accepted that is.
Do you think do you think he's actually he's clear out the woods?
What does that mean?
I don't really know. But
I think Aaron Cresswell is clear out the woods.
No, I mean, do you think he's burst through to the other side? He's all right with it? Maybe he is.
No, he's trying to be all right with it.
But he's not.
I don't think anyone that does those kind of reaction videos
is happy. They can't be.
They can't be happy. It's just to keep it going.
Because you can't even laugh your way to the bank with those.
It seems a bit too bleak.
It's too bleak.
Especially when your primary social media is Facebook. Or a dying one.
It feels like they have a hot tub in the garden.
Are you all right?
I only paused because I realised that your dad has a hot tub. So I thought you were getting offended by that.
No.
But you do know what I mean, that they have a hot tub in the garden.
Well, no, I think the difference is this.
But they're not happy
of the same ilk as dad in some ways. Is you have a hot tub in a not very big house. That's very different to having a hot tub in a massive house.
Yeah, where it's just a small part of it. Yeah.
In fairness, dad's is because he does genuinely loves hot tubs.
Do you think he actually loves the hot tub?
He goes out there every night.
Every night?
Well, he did when I lived there. I can't say. You
haven't seen him for like 10 years. I forgot you haven't seen him for about a decade.
But no, he used to.
Oh, fair enough. If he's going every.
No, he fucking loves hot tubs.
And you're not a big fan.
I hate hot tubs. Way too hot. They're way too hot. Well, no, I'm not. I don't have baths because I'm over the age of 6.
Yeah,
I shower.
It is a bath, isn't it?
It's a bath.
It's just a bath.
It's a bath with some bubbles. I do not understand them. To be fair, Dad doesn't have a bath in his bathroom. Maybe that's something to do with it.
Yeah, maybe. But the idea of using it hygienically, that's bad. You're not meant to do that.
You're not meant to use baths.
You're not meant to wash yourself in the hot tub.
I'm not saying he does shower as well as hot tub. I'm not saying that's Dad's nightly hot tub to clean himself. He gets the Radox and the conditioner.
I imagine him with one of those big back scrubbers.
Yeah. Putting all his dead skin in the tub. It was one of the funniest things about living at home was Dad, and he'd come in and...
Is he not coming all wet then?
Well, yeah, he would, but I'd be in the living room watching TV, and he'd come in a towel, and I'm just going to pop in the hot tub. I was like, okay. Every night, I was like, you don't need to tell me that. Every single night, I'd just pop into the hot tub.
Proud of it.
I think he is a bit.
Yeah, he is.
I was just there with his towel, and then I just hear, and it's funny because you could just see it light up from the living room. So I was like, there he is.
There he is.
Time. Maybe wanking.
He wanks in that hot tub.
I'd be surprised if he didn't at one point. I don't think he'd make a habit out of it.
Because you don't want to.
You clog up the mechanism with cum.
With cum.
Yeah.
You watched some films recently. I watched some films recently.
I don't have to brag about it.
I went last night we were looking for a film to see, and Sam suggested Tar, but it was 3 hours long. It was like 2 hours 45 minutes.
I'm watching that on Saturday.
It's just a bit long to watch on last night.
Yeah.
So I looked. I was picking up random anything with even vaguely good reviews. Hour and a half. Found this art house film by the Cornish director who did Bait, which is that black and white film. I was like, fuck it. I'm not going to learn anything about it.
Yeah.
Basically, I was ready for that to be real smug, as is like I knew nothing about it, and this was like one of my favorite films.
Yeah.
It was set up to be great because I had no expectations going in, and that's when you're ready to be blown away.
Yeah.
And it was very art house, very experimental, and absolute dog shit. I mean, it's got really good reviews.
Why was it dog shit?
It's about a lady on an island. It's a lot like The Lighthouse, but make The Lighthouse. You know all the bad things about The Lighthouse is then it's quite boring.
Yeah.
It's like The Lighthouse. The Lighthouse felt like a Marvel film. The Lighthouse felt it made The Lighthouse.
Really?
It made me say maybe The Lighthouse isn't that bad. It was like they managed to have less happen and make it more isolating and make less sense and more surreal. It's about
The Lighthouse.
It's very similar to The Lighthouse. It's just this woman on an island.
I was really excited for The Lighthouse.
It's this woman. Really but then The Lighthouse, I went in with high expectations. This, I went in with nothing.
Yeah.
And this was so much worse.
Yeah.
It's like this woman, it's called Enys Men. Enys Men. Enys Men. And it's about a woman on an island. It's the whole thing, I think, it's an allegory for grief, but it's just her seeing things. So it's about her daily routine.
How long was it?
It's only an hour and a half, so it's fine.
Thank God.
But it's like her daily routine of checking how deep the water is on the island. I think it's some sort of lighthouse thing, I don't know. And checking if there's mold on these flowers and then writing it down in a book.
How many times did you see that kind of process?
Maybe nearly 20 times. And then as Sam said, so it's like this morning routine.
Yeah.
She puts on the jacket, you see her with the shoes. It's like this whole routine, repetitive. And every time she writes the temperature and then observations about the flowers and writes no change. No change. She wrote no change 16 times and then 17, 18, 19, bit of lichen, which is like a flower involved. Loads of lichen. It's got loads of lichen on it.
Right.
And as Sam said, watching it, he was like, I was so bored that even the temperature going up was a thrill.
Was it? Yeah.
Because it was like 14.5 degrees, 14.5, and it was like 14.6 degrees. And it got to 14.9 degrees. And I was like, 15 degrees would be fucking lit.
You. Did you ever get to 15?
No, we didn't. Yeah. No, of course they didn't.
Because they can't give you that. They can't give you anything. Was there any discernible storyline?
She clearly there was some grief. Family members had died, and it was her dealing with the.
But that's
she was seeing
the
ghosts.
film exists.
Yeah, and then she was. Yeah, so nothing happened during it.
So was there nothing other than that?
Nothing discernible. I'm sure there was.
Yeah. No, but not in terms of metaphorically. Was there any sense of?
So she ran out of tea. She ran out of tea and petrol. And so she's constantly communicating with someone over this radio who said he's going to bring supplies. Then he brings supplies, and then she says, stay a bit longer. And he says, no, I best be off. And she goes, all right. And then he leaves. And then in one of the surreal things, I don't know if it really happened or not, he drowned. So I guess
What?
the Coast Guard pulls him up, and he's blue and
was
drowned.
it like it was just one actor?
It was.
Who was
No, because she saw a lot of. It was basically you just saw this one woman's face the whole time, but in some of her visions there'd be like 8.
So the visions.
There'd be like 8 nuns dancing in her head. You know?
How much dialogue was there? Was it mostly
very little dialogue? Very little.
That
dialogue.
sounds like hell.
It was so dull. And there was one moment where she's looking down this well, which she's been dropping rocks down and counting how long it takes to hit the water to test the thing.
It sounds a bit like.
And then she did it once.
And a long-term geography study.
Then there was a miner down there, which is clearly like the history of the place. I think there's something tragic.
Is that the ghost, right?
Yeah.
It wasn't an actual miner.
Yeah, it's all got everyone. Yeah. Pretty much everyone was. They could all be. She might be dead as well. Who knows? And then he was looking up down there for one time, and Sam said, which I think, you know, we're waiting because it was sold as a horror film. We were waiting for like we wanted,
creepy
after it had been so like dry and distilted and having a very like minimalist vibe. If she just dropped a rock and it hit him on the head, and he was like, "Oh shit, fuck." And then they all clambered out and started like beating. I'd love it.
Yeah.
I've never wanted someone to get like brutally ripped to shreds or like
just
something,
to give us something.
Just something. Just fucking
sounds
assault
awful.
her. You know? Yeah, it was absolute dog shit.
Well, it doesn't sound like anything.
No, it really was nothing.
Because when filmmakers go so far into a metaphor that they don't think it's important to do anything.
But it's got good reviews. Everyone read it. It was like a really powerful metaphor about grief and stuff. It was just, you know, I think, you know, you could argue, you know, if you like an examiner, you could give it full marks for.
If you go into film for basically performance art, rather than any kind of.
But it was, and you know, and if there's going to be an audience who likes that kind of shit, like I've watched some really hardcore stuff. I feel like I would be someone who would actually be all right with that. Out of most people, I thought it was boring as shit.
Yeah.
You know, I like loads of absolutely boring stuff that I'd never expect anyone else to like. I know that was just.
But it's never when it's actually boring, is when there's intrigue within things that appear boring.
Yes.
But that is just dullness.
Yeah.
It's watching a lady catalog flowers.
Yeah, genuinely, that was it.
That sounds horrendous.
So I wouldn't recommend that. You watched The Menu?
Yeah, I thought it was awful.
Yeah.
It was because there's.
I see clips of it. It looks a bit fun.
It doesn't know what it is.
Okay.
It goes for horror, comedy, drama, but it's.
What's the premise?
Well, it's basically it's part of this genre which is getting. I'm not going to say out of hand, but there's a very. I don't want to go too big, but it's like loads of films are doing it, like Eat the Rich genre.
Yeah.
So Glass Onion is a little bit that Triangle of Sadness, and this.
Yeah.
Those are the things from this cycle, but it's been around for a while. But it's the worst.
And White Lotus.
Yeah, White Lotus, definitely. Well, yeah, it is.
Even Succession in a way.
Absolutely. Yeah. We see more and more rich satire.
Yeah,
basically.
that's it. Yeah, that's what's in vogue for sure.
And Menu does it awfully. Okay. It does it so badly compared to anything else. But the premise is. Spoilers. The premise is you start off with like Nicholas Hoult and Anna Taylor-Joy, and they're going on a boat to this kind of secluded island where they're going to have the culinary experience of their life. You'll love it, you know. It would be better than that one. Yeah, definitely better than that one.
Definitely.
It's obviously not a terrible film like that, but it's not good.
Yeah.
And they go off to this island, and there's a group of maybe. There's like 7 different tables, something like that. Oh yeah, and there was a point. Elle sent me this video where someone had done an analysis of it, and it's saying, "Oh, actually, when you read into it, each one of the tables represents a different one of the 7 deadly sins." I'm like, can you fucking fuck off with that shit now, please?
I did that. Grass is Green. I had characters represent the play I did when I was 15.
The 7 deadly sins.
I did that when I was 15.
It's pathetic.
And when I was 16, I was like, that's what you do when you're 15.
And it was one of the only film analysis I've read that I'm like, if that's true, that makes it so much worse. If they've gone from that is fucking awful.
Yeah.
They go there. Rafe Fiennes is the chef, and there's a kind of a bit of a creepy vibe a bit from the start. But basically. They go through. They've all paid to come to this culinary experience, but it turns out they've all been carefully selected. And at the end of it, it all starts to go wrong as he starts stabbing people or something. But just like he stabs someone, he cuts a finger off because he wasn't complying. And the whole concept is that the menu is also them dying at the end is part of the menu.
And they've all sinned.
Yeah.
They've all committed.
Apart from Anna Taylor-Joy, who got there by accident because she's a hooker.
Oh, I see.
And his Nicholas Holt's girlfriend.
Sex worker.
Apologies, sex worker. Yeah. Nicholas Holt's girlfriend broke up with him, but he could only go with 2 people, so he employed a sex worker to come along with him.
Okay.
It's not scary. It's certainly not funny. There's a couple of moments which is like, but then I just hate that kind of horror comedy kind of genre where it's like
neither. It's like do one.
Yeah, or I think what you can do is make it funny for the first third and then make it terrifying.
Yeah.
Like have a switch. Yeah. But don't be bringing back jokes when you're trying to
tension.
Make it scary.
Horror's about
Stop
tension.
It. Yeah.
Comedy's about release.
About the relief of that. And it's like if you do it for the first third, great, and then suddenly it gets weird, then that will kind of make a big change. But that was just, what are we doing now? There's also and then it doesn't get creepy or weird enough. And he also addresses the fact that they're gonna die very early on.
Yeah.
So the whole thing, and they do. And then during it, there's one bit where it's starting to build up on the creepiness, and then this completely takes away all of it. He brings all of them out, and there's a mix of men and women, and there's the film critic that shuts down restaurants. There's the old Hollywood actor who's done some bad stuff and is just doing it for the money. Nicholas Hoult is probably the most interesting character, just because the only one interesting line was about how because he's obsessed, he's like a mad foodie and he knows all about his food, and when questioned about it he'll like tuck in, but he won't necessarily enjoy it because he'll talk about it. He's like an obsessive about it. And the only kind of interesting thing was about people like that, and then he asked him to cook and he couldn't do shit, and it was almost saying like, you're ruining the culture in a way. That was kind of interesting. And then there's the politician who's cheated on someone. Those were the people, that was the thing. And it was like, they're all here to face their comeuppance. And then when it got insane was Rafe takes them out.
Good performance by him?
His American accent is awful.
Is it?
It's dreadful. Good otherwise than that, because he's always great. Yeah. But his American accent is dog shit. Yeah. It's completely unbelievable. Yeah. And it sounds, when the problem I have with American accents is when I hear anyone do a bad one, I just think of watching Burgess Hill Musical Theatre Society, and they sound exactly like that. And it's astonishing how they can get into a Hollywood film when they're doing the same kind
Guys and Dolls,
half
Burgess
New
Hill.
York, half California. There's nothing in it. But then, so he takes them all outside for a bit, and he's like, and he brings up that Rafe dies as well in it. That's part of it, and all the kitchen staff do. That's part of the menu. And then he says that he made an advance to one of his chefs, a female chef, one of his sous chefs, and that she denied him. But then he went in for it again, and she denied him again. But he didn't fire her, and then his penance for that was she then stabs him in the thigh. And then he says men have to repent and do all this. So he then goes, all of the men, you now have to run across the island, and my cooking staff are going to catch you. And then it was someone like the last one to be caught gets a prize or something. And they've seen him chop someone's fingers off. They've seen him just be stabbed in the leg. All the men run off. And it's this really intense chase scene. And I thought this might go somewhere now. And all the women go back in and they're having a conversation. It's like their gender bit of the movie. The women are having their
Bechdel test.
Exactly, yeah. The women are having this conversation, which is really chill, and it just goes to the men going, which I thought fine. Yeah. And then it just suddenly, and then the conversation kind of ended, and you just see the men getting caught one by one. And then they all just come back to the restaurant.
And just carry on the film.
And then the winner, who was like, there was a guy hiding in a chicken coop who gets a cake. And then they just bring them all back in. And I remember, I just thought, what was the point of that?
Yeah.
And then the last, and it's bad throughout, there's some awful writing and stuff that's just, it's cliche. And then the prostitute gets out, Anna Taylor-Joy gets out through a series of basically some lucky stuff. But she does this one, because he's a fine dining chef. And she steals off at one point to try and get help. Gets a radio or something, which is an okay bit, but it's. And then she sees him as like a burger flipper when he was like 17. And just at the moment, at the end, he's about to burn them all. Basically, she's basically says, "Oh, you haven't. Every chef every chef has to live by the rule that if their customers don't feel like they're full, they have to give them, their experience. So she asked him to flip.
Is that a rule?
I don't know.
That's a classic. No.
So she asked him to cook him a burger to evoke the memories of his old thing.
Ratatouille. Yeah.
And because of how much he kind of enjoyed flipping that burger, he lets her go.
Amazing.
And then the last shot is of her. She doesn't finish the burger, but she takes it to go. She then gets away on a boat, and then the last shot is of her finishing the burger and then wiping away the ketchup with the menu.
The menu. That's why it's called the menu.
The menu. It's garbage. It's fucking garbage.
I feel in the way that I definitely think there's so much in the culture now about the eat the rich thing, and it's like this is the problem with producers and development. It's like success. Let's recreate that. Yeah, they've done that. This is what the thing is.
It was successful, though.
And then it means because it takes a year to make anything, it's like it's always going to have a bit of a lag. So if something was big a year ago, bang, 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 it's just got this lag to it. So I've definitely seen that on the other side because that sort of mainstream stuff is all eat the rich.
Yeah.
But going to this picture house to see this terrible art house film, they've now done that in the art house world with Korean cinema.
Yes.
Everyone is trying to make Parasite.
Yeah,
they even got like,
true.
Now they're like, oh, that works. So now they're trying to make this kind of, and a lot of these films don't look good. They just look like they're just shoving kind of,
shoveling shit.
Just because it's Korean doesn't make it good.
Which is, you'd be mistaken for thinking differently.
Yeah, because you'd be like, oh, it's Korean.
Yeah.
It's clearly genius.
Yeah. But because it's been, it got well reviewed. And I think it's done all right in the box office. We got a couple of Golden Globe noms.
Fucking hell.
In some way.
But, I mean, it is one of the worst years for cinema for a long time, just because of COVID and the lag of it. So there's just been nothing good out. Have you seen that?
Banshees.
I found Banshees quite boring.
I didn't love it that much.
It's not great.
I thought there were moments... I liked it, but
it was witty script.
I didn't think it was funny enough.
Yeah, it's just like, yes, I guess that is kind of quite... Yeah, that is a bit witty. That's a bit absurd.
Yeah, I came out underwhelmed. Yeah. I was really excited for it because I love Martin McDonagh.
Yeah.
I love that. I love... it's Brendan Gleeson, isn't it?
Yeah.
And Colin Farrell. In Bruges is great.
Yeah.
But it was kind of interesting. It wasn't... For me, it wasn't great.
And just, my big thing is... any script that could be done probably better as a play...
Yeah.
I'm not...
He started off as a playwright.
I don't get as excited by.
Well, what else is there?
Now remember Oscar season's coming around. This is Oscar season.
Babylon looks like dog shit.
Babylon looks like dog shit.
Tar looks good.
Tar might be good.
I think Tar. I'm seeing it on Friday.
So 2 films I saw trailers for, which I couldn't believe who directed them. There's The Empire of Light, which is the Sam Mendes film about a cinema
with Olivia Colman.
Yeah, which looks like an advert. Doesn't it? It looks like fucking, and it's shot by Roger Deakins, who's the best cinematographer of all time. Directed by Sam Mendes. It's got the actors would that cast could easily do a shit film, but normally when you've got a good director and cinematographer, that's like their a big Oscar pick. It looks like fucking shit. I don't care. I couldn't care. I was watching. I was like, I just couldn't care.
You've got to put your care away because it for me it looked intriguing, moderately intriguing.
And what?
Because it looked quite pretty, and it's Sam Mendes and it's Olivia Colman, so I'm like,
no, because I would trust it if it came out with good reviews. I'd be like, all right, I like Sam Mendes. I'm sure he wouldn't do absolute shit.
It has got decent reviews, hasn't it?
I mean, it's been presented as one of those films, but I can't be asked. And then The Fabelmans. You seen the advert for this?
Which one's that?
Spielberg talking about his childhood. Everyone going Spielberg's like, it looks like shit.
Looks awful.
It looks like
really
shit.
Bad.
Spielberg's most personal film yet. We'll fucking stick to it,
Because Babylon is Damien Chazelle.
Looks like shit as well.
And that's what I'm like. He's had hit.
Yeah.
So it just looks like, and it's. I think one of the biggest sins. You can do Eat the Rich well still because the Triangle of Sadness fucking did.
Yeah.
But you can't when you're getting. It's like what Sam Mendes did and Babylon is. Because Tarantino did it a few years ago. But he did it well. It's like, please don't talk about Hollywood. Don't talk about I hate when you see films about cinema.
Because it's lazy.
It's lazy. It's boring. It's literally like they're taking the first rule of writing, write about what you know, and just doing that because they've made it. And La La Land is similar to that, but there's a balance to it. When it's just like the frivolities of Hollywood, I was like, I've seen that so much, and I don't care about it anymore. I think Tarantino smashed it. I loved Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yeah.
And that was and it kind of Tarantino was kind of perfect for it. But the rest, when you're seeing these parties and the Hollywood parties, do they think that we find that interesting?
Yeah.
As like these plebs looking out onto the distant Hollywood hills going, oh, that's what the parties are like. No one cares anymore.
Yeah.
No one cares. We know you all do cocaine.
Yeah.
That's the end of it. You do cocaine and you're all kind of cunts.
Yeah.
That's like, I don't care about this anymore.
Yeah. On that note, we'll end the podcast. Thank you very much for subscribing to the Patreon.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming to the live pod. Live pod should be up much quicker this time in the next couple of weeks.
Cool.
Patreon exclusive. We'll see you next week.
See ya.